Okay, now to wait for people. What was the original prototype? This is the original prototype. Can you guys hear me now? Now it works? Okay. Yeah, so the original prototype of this game is pretty weird because they make there's no shaders in this game. Not for the first level. You gotta try to just build your environment around you. What up, Con? We're just waiting for people to get in. We're playing the original prototype of this game. This is called the Unfinished Swan, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Is that Unfinished Swan game? Yeah. I wish more games like this were made. Like the LiDAR game? Yeah, the LiDAR game was pretty good. I think that's it. Oh, no. Okay. Prototype's very interesting. What up, Marcel? Yeah, LiDAR is terrifying. We're just playing around the thing while some people join. Whoa. Where am I now? The prototype is... There's a marsh? What's a marsh? Like, what do you mean, there's a marsh? We're just waiting for you to get in. A horror game? This is not a horror game, actually. It's just a story game. It's a nice story game. This is not a horror game. This is called the Unfinished Swan. It's a very good game. Was supposed to be the demo for this game? Yeah, I think this was initially meant to be the demo of the game, where basically people just got to mess around. It was a free demo where people just got to mess around with this. The prototype isn't very much. It's not a bad concept, though. You kind of can see what the game is about. You're trying to find your way around, but You don't want to paint the entire environment black, because if you do that, then you can't see anything. What up, Channel Mullen? What up, Trevor? Welcome back. Yeah, so you don't want to paint everything black, because then you can't see anything. So you kind of just want to have it splattered around, so that way you can see like the corners and stuff like that, and where you're going in case there's like a doorway somewhere. They hide a lot of stuff in this game, and I've 100% this game, so I know where most things are. But I think that's where we should wrap it. Oh yeah, there's toys. There's balloon radar, which I've already used. Original prototype. Sniper rifle's really cool. The toys are really, really cool, because they allow you to do some stuff. Unlock chapters. Time stop. Let me see what else. Activate by pressing. This is clean canvas. This is concept art. Pick up blueprints. And then hose. This is the hose. The hose is really cool. Then you can clean it. And then you can stop the balls around so you can throw them all around and bam! And paint everything like that. This is a really good game, so why don't we get on to it now? This game's called The Unfinished Swan. It is one of my favorites. We're going to start with the statue garden. We're going to go through the game all in one stream, because why not?
Monroe's mother had always been much better at starting things than finishing them. When she died, she left behind over 300 canvases, not one of them finished, along with Monroe, who felt pretty unfinished himself. The orphanage allowed him to keep only one painting, and so he chose the Unfinished Swan that had always been his mother's favorite. But that night, he woke up to find the swan had disappeared. So he took his mother's silver paintbrush and followed the footprints into a little door he hadn't seen before.
So yeah, Monroe goes through a door and he finds this place. Here's the door he went through. You guys can kind of see it. There's a door here. So the walkway's this way. What is he like when you have blue thing on your name? It's called being a moderator. Now we're walking outside. There's a bench. Bamboo. There's some bamboo here. We're somewhere outside. And then here is the Unfinished Swan Prince. Hunter, one question. What's your question, L. Trevor? There's a frog here somewhere. You guys want to see a frog? There it is. I forgot about that. And that is why I hate the water, chat. And that is why I hate the water. That is exactly why I hate the water. So everything in this game was Monroe's mom's paintings. Every single thing. You eat the frog. Yeah, that's the sea monster painting. We'll see that more later. Here's a swan. You can hear it. Oh, yeah. So you can throw the ink in the water, and sometimes a fish will come up and try to eat it.
Hey! Hello? Woohoo!
Monroe is the MC. Yeah, Monroe's the main character. His mom was a painter. She never finished any of her paintings, though. Now we're going up to some big thing. Looks like we're entering a castle. The king's castle. Okay, guys, so this is the king. Yeah, so this is the king. And most of this game takes place inside his dream. So this whole thing is not only Monroe's dream, but it's also the king's dream. As you can see, he's got lips, a nose, and a beard. As you guys can see. He's got hair that splays out the sides. And there are his two eyes. We are now in his garden, his statue garden. There are some items you can't paint in the game. Like, see his gold crown? If I throw a thing at that, it'll just bounce off. So some things are not meant to be painted, but you can use them to figure out where you're supposed to go. Like right over there. I believe that is the swan. The whole goal of the game is to paint the swan. Finish it up. I don't understand you, friend. What do you mean? What do you mean what I mean? Here's some more swan footprints. Here's a window. Now we're going on a roof. Tiled roof. And then we can jump down here. It's a chicken, chat. That's what it was. It was a chicken statue. Sorry I have to go, but I'll watch you after. Alright, gentlemen, I'll see ya. Yeah, so you see a lot of these gold items that'll usually mean something. I'm not sure what the chicken means. What's this one? It's a hand holding a chicken leg. Think Chicken Nugget went to bed? He probably did. What's this one? It's a pig! For all these you want me to draw pigs during the drawing streams. It's a good pig. There's a lot of statues to look at. Let's move along. Make sure we're on. I heard the swan. Not sure what statue this is. A unicorn, chat. What's going on in chat? Yeah, it's just my Discord bio. Roasted ham and a unicorn. I believe there are a few more statues to look at. There's something right there. Let me see if I can hit it. Looks like I can't. We're going to go up these stairs. And the stairs don't lead anywhere. Because there are more stairs right there. I completely missed them. What up, Yarick? How you doing, Yarick? Ah. Okay, guys, so right here, we'll learn more of the story. So there are these little things you can hit, and you learn about the king's story. The king was basically obsessed with himself. So here, I'll shut up now and I'll let it play.
The king was young, arrogant, and amazingly talented. He was convinced no color existed that was good enough for his garden, so he left it white. While he pondered how to create some new colors, his kingdom began attracting settlers, and soon he found himself with bigger problems.
Yeah, so the king's a bit of a narcissist at first. There it is. The swan was right there, guys. The watchtower. Okay, guys. I see that, but I don't believe these stairs go anywhere. The swan walked up here, walked around here, and went up there. So that's where we got to get to. Now it's figuring it out. Now, here's some weird part about this game. So this room loops over and over again. So as you can see, if I throw this, suddenly there's a lot more of a mess. You can also fall through things, like this. So the whole point is you're trying to figure out where to land. There we go. And that's how you do this puzzle. And there are the gold pots I knocked down. See you, Sky. Have a good night. Alright. So now, we're done with this part of the game. So now we got shaders. Now we can actually see where we're going. Here's another section. I'll shut up.
The king's new subjects were tired of white. They were tired of tripping, of banging their shins, of misplacing their homes. So they started painting everything, ruining the king's spotless design. In response, the king outlawed all non-magical brushes and pledged to spend the next month painting shadows for his kingdom.
Yeah. So he doesn't really like colors. So he painted shadows so that way people could see. And here, you guys remember that big monster? The big monster's in here, I think. Somewhere.
Whoa.
Oh, there it is. It's a giant catfish monster. We can still paint things black. But now look at it. There's a whole kingdom here. Part 3. The first castle. So the king painted all these shadows. He also painted the water. He painted the water blue because, well, there is no sky. Where are you? I'm in the castle now. We are in the king's castle. I can still paint things black, but there's no need for it anymore. The door is closed off. But there's some stairs here. And now, here's the king's art room. He's drawn many things in here. He's painted himself, painting himself, painting himself, painting himself. Fall in the water? I'm not falling in the water. Here's the maze that we did earlier, guys. That maze we were walking around where we had to paint our way through to see. This is the maze right here. Alright, see you, El Trevor. Have fun. As you can see, chat, we started up here and we moved our way down. And it tells you how much I know this game. And we found this area. Here's a hippo he drew. Now, you'll see this hippo actually later in the game. This is his pet hippo. I don't remember the name of the hippo, but it's his pet. Here's the kingdom we're going to go to soon. And then some concept art. One of his boats. Spoiler. Ladder. And here's a model of the kingdom.
Whoa.
This was the statue garden, guys. We just went through this. So we walked up these stairs here. And then there was the king statue right there that we hit. And then we continued walking. We found the chicken statue right there. The chicken statue right there. There was the unicorn statue. There's the roasted ham. And there was the giant hippo statue we did not find.
Hello.
As you can see, he goes through a lot of paint. There it is. There's the kingdom. Now we have to get through this place. You guys see it? There's a swan. The swan we have to paint. It's very hard. Oh, yeah. Giant maze. But right there is the swan. Now, how to get started. Now, this game's all about illusions. So this maze looks really huge, but if you just look at it right, it's really not that complicated at all. Here's another section. I'll shut up for it.
The labyrinth was designed to be beautiful, and it was. It was not designed to be practical, and it wasn't. Whole families got lost for weeks at a time. Mail took months to arrive, and many worried a labyrinth of this size was bound to attract dragons. Eventually, the complaints grew so loud even the king couldn't ignore them.
So he painted the labyrinth because he liked labyrinths. People got lost, though. Who wouldn't? Here is his signature paintbrush. Seems very large, doesn't it, for his paintbrush? But this is his. This is what he painted everything with. This paintbrush. Just seems way too big, though, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm eating some goldfish in the background while we watch some stuff. I am kind of hungry. Yeah, big-ass paintbrush for a guy that doesn't seem that big. I believe the King's Gate is somewhere here. Yeah. Alright, guys, so that big giant maze, we don't have to go through it. We already just did. Look at how big this maze is. And we're done. Look how large it is. Yo, what up, Lavissa? Oh, there was a swan. I missed it. We're gonna chase that swan, don't worry. Oh yeah, I forgot the story beat over here.
The king was so frustrated with the messy, demanding people of his kingdom that he decided to start over. One morning he painted a boat and set off to find the perfect spot. He told himself he'd come back someday to finish what he had started, but of course, he never did.
Yeah. So he left and he never came back. I want to show you guys something cool. Yeah, I'm a little hungry. Hey, guys. There's the paintbrush that we saw earlier. All you would have to do is pluck it. Very interesting, don't you think? We were just over there. All right, guys. Time for the next part.
For the first time in weeks, Monroe felt good. He felt even better when the wind pushed him close enough to reach the swan. He was feeling so good, in fact, that he forgot all about his fear of heights. But when the swan wriggled free and Monroe fell over the side, he remembered almost immediately. That might have been the end of Monroe if this were a shorter story, but it isn't, which is why Monroe's troubles were just beginning.
All right. That's the first part of the game done. Now, let's go on to the Unfinished Empire. The Unfinished Empire is probably my favorite part of the game. King fell down. Yep. Monroe, he tried painting the swan, and he fell.
Monroe scrambled out of the water and found himself in a massive city with no sign of the swan or anyone else. Well, except someone's enormous pair of feet. These were attached to a giant who could have been a big help in catching the swan, but unfortunately, here was the laziest giant who had ever lived. And it was his day off. Having celebrated in his usual way, he was now sleeping it off and quite unable to hear Monroe yelling. While he was looking for a way to wake the giant, Monroe noticed something even better. A floating ship.
And that's where we're going to be heading, is the giant floating ship. Alright guys, there's the giant, by the way. Giant feet. That's the goal right there. Now, the black paint we had before, now we're just throwing water because our paintbrushes got wet. We will meet the giant, I think, and battle him. Nope. So our paintbrush got wet and we lost our paint. There's a swan. So now we're just throwing water. How do I refund money? I don't know. Here's the giant, though. Try and get a good look at him.
Hey! Hello? Hey!
Yep. He is the laziest giant to ever be known. Now we can open up this bridge. Let's see if we can get a better look at him later. Oh, wait. Here, look at this.
Sometimes the giant wondered about where all the people in the city had gone. Mostly he worried they might come back and ask him to clean their gutters or put up their fires. But they never did, and that was why the giant, who was the laziest that had ever lived, was also the happiest.
Our goal is over there. Just want to check something real quick. I believe this is a blocked door. Yep. That kid is getting ignored. We can get more paint. Yeah, we can get more paint. Later. I'm a lord. Yeah, I don't know how to help. I don't know what to do. Alright. So our goals right now are to open this door to flood in the water.
Before he discovered painting, the king was a potter. He loved the simplicity of a well-spun pot. So when his subjects complained that his new city was too austere and that there was nowhere to relieve themselves, the king ignored them. But when they started relieving themselves in his pots, the king hastily built them a sewer system.
Yeah. So all the pots you see in this game, they were used as toilets. He used pottery. That's what he liked to do. It's actually what I thought about taking as a career path, believe it or not, was doing pottery. I wasn't ever really good at using the wheel, though. Are you playing at midnight, Blunty? Yeah, it is. It's 1 o'clock now. Yeah, so all these pots here, he made every single one of them. There's the giant, by the way, again, in case any of you want to see him one more time. All right, say goodbye to the giant, guys. That's all we're going to be seeing of him. Actually, never mind. We'll get one more good look at him. All right. Now, let's open the water up. See, now that we've flooded the area, this boat makes a perfect bridge. Bats. Pitch black, yep. Part 2, scaffolding. That ladder's broken, so we got to use this ladder instead. The city feels so cramped, but at the same time, it just feels nice. Feels like it all works as pieces of itself together. Missed that jump. Let's try it again. Okay, so I don't think you can make that jump. Unless I'm doing it wrong. I slapped the 4-year-old? That's crazy. Well. It's been a long time since I played this game. So maybe I'm just bad at it. There we go, I got it this time. There we go. You can see he's a bit of a narcissist. He's painted his face over everything. As you can see, more colors are being introduced. Oh shit, there was a swan. There's the swan. Now, what am I supposed to do for this puzzle? Catch the swan quietly Quietly quick. We'll get the swan. Don't worry. All right. Now, we actually have a bridge. Then we just smack it. And there we go. Is there any story bits I'm missing? I don't want to be missing story bits for you guys. I want to get every single one I can remember. Alright. This comes probably my favorite part of the game. Alright. Now let's take a look. There's the swan. Swan's all the way up there. It's like it's luring us.
Hey.
Okay, now, this puzzle's interesting. Yeah, don't let the spiders scare you. This game tries to spook you a little bit. But don't let yourself get spooked. New growth. And there's the swan. So now we can water these vines. Here's another story bit.
As the city filled up with people, the streets filled up with garbage. In a fury, the king painted over the roads with a canal, which swept away the trash, along with some of the slower children. But the water brought something else, a horde of vines which began covering the city.
Eventually, the water had gotten locked off, and all the plants died. But we're here to fix that. These vines will make us a bridge that we can use to climb. Like that. No, you're okay if you're late. We want to keep these wet and keep them going. These will be our way across most of the city. And now we will be seeing them later. But these ones over here, we need these ones. We want it to go all the way across. There's the monster again. For any of you that missed the monster, there it was again. Oh, the new Terraria update. Nope, there was a swan again. This platforming is very interesting. The design, though, actually didn't come to them until last minute. So they went through and they scribbled in a bunch of lines, and that's every single vine you see is a new line. It's a whale. Seems like the king had a bit of a weed problem. Maybe. But now the vines will grow a bridge. You want them to go up this tube. Now we just have to walk along the path. Okay, here we go. Whoa! The palace. As you can see, the further we go into the game, the more color that gets introduced. As the king started to like colors again. He used to only like the color white, but then he started to like shading. Then he liked blue. Then he liked green. And slowly, he started to enjoy all colors. There's the king right there, by the way, for anyone who wants to know. That's what he looks like. He's a very interesting looking fellow. And here's a miniature maze. Because he loved his mazes. Now.
Unlike his nicely trimmed hedge maze, the vines refused to stay where the king wanted them. He ordered his subjects to pull up every vine they saw. But the people were getting tired of the king's endless decrees, so they secretly began watering the vines whenever the king wasn't looking.
For a little while, he became a tyrant. Here we go. It's a firework. Just wanted to show you guys that. I thought that was cool. His hippopotamus is dead? No, it is not. We'll see it later. All right. Now, inside the palace is completely white. So we have to use the water to guide our way. Yep. We're back to being fully white. But we don't have any paint. I'm going to turn on a toy real quick. I see. This will just let the watering process go by faster. Bro has infinite water? Yes, he does. He has a magic paintbrush. But it's wet right now, so it only casts water. There's the swan right there. Sniper shot. Yeah, I've unlocked all the toys. Okay. Weird spot. Don't walk into that corner. These will make us a bridge. Come back in 5 minutes. All right. See you, Con. Whoa. Almost fell. Alright, that's the end of the plans for now. Now we move on. The seawall. Over there is where the king went. That little black island. When the day he left and he never came back, he painted a new island. Hello, cast.
The king hated the sea, and all because of his very first castle. It was the only one he had ever come close to finishing, and it took him a single day. But then the tide came in and washed it all away. He vowed that someday he'd build a kingdom that would last forever.
Yeah, he doesn't like the water. Because the water rinses away things. And he wants things to last forever. We'll just go up here real quick. See that island over there, guys? There's actually a statue. But you can look even further. There he is, chat. There's the king. And there's the hippo right there. The king and the hippo. We'll be going over there later. Sharks. Don't worry, chat. We won't get eaten.
Hello.
Plants are back. The platforming, when I first did this platforming challenge, it actually scared me. I was always scared I was going to fall in the water. Now, where do I go? I'm trying to remember now where I go. I do not... Oh, I forgot. There's a bridge here. Maybe you should let the sharks take one small bite. You're funny. You're so funny. You think you're funny, huh?
Whoa!
And now, we can walk along here. Here's another one. Hold on, Blunt. Or, hold on.
The king and his city. No matter what he tried, the king couldn't stop them. So he decided to create something that could. He mixed in feed thinner, malice and snot, and soon had the outlines of a pretty horrible creature. But it wasn't until the thing began to coil its tentacles and snap its jaws that the king understood what he had made. And for the first time in his life, the king was afraid.
He created monsters. Hello, Lobotomy. Hey, Mark, don't start stuff in the chat, please. Whoa. Now, what am I supposed to do here? Is there a vine I'm missing? Now, what am I supposed to do? I believe I jump. What is this game? This is called the Unfinished Swan. Pick up the hose. Yeah, now the hose is really powerful. This is a very strong hose. How much should I miss? A little bit. But you can still learn the story of the game. Now I have a bridge. See, the vines are very useful. How much does this game cost? I believe this game only costs $5. All right, chat. One more.
Even half finished, the creature had no trouble swallowing up all the king's soldiers, half his zoo, and 3 peppermint gazebos. It was only with the help of his pet hippo and the giant that the king was able to force it into the sea. And though the water remained black for years after, the creature was never seen again on shore.
The creature's out there, chat. It is out there. He never was able to get rid of it. Back from church. Yo, what up, Mark? Welcome back. We're getting closer to the end, chat. We're almost there. Can I get in the door? We made it. Here it is, chat.
Within a short time, the king's subjects had all moved away, except the giant, who was quite loyal and also very lazy.
He chased everyone away. Big bell, chat. Big bell. And we made it, chat.
Monroe waved goodbye to the giant and set sail. But no matter how fast he went, the swan was always just out of reach. And not for the first time that day, Monroe suspected he was being led somewhere. Then they flew into a cloud, and everything went black.
All right. So it turned nighttime. We're almost there, chap. Now we're into the woods.
Monroe sailed on in darkness, following the swan's voice. But he never saw a thing. Not the stars, not the swan, and certainly not the tree he got stuck in. When the clouds lifted, the swan was gone, leaving Monroe alone in the middle of an immense forest. Since there was nothing else to be done, he jumped.
All right, chat. Here we are. There's the giant balloon. Finally starts snowing for me? All right. Whoa. It's so scary, chat. Spiders. You guys want to see something scary? Watch this. I believe there should be spiders around here. Very spooky, chat. Have you ever watched Dr. Nowhere? No? Alright, chat. Time for the spider part. There they are, chat. You don't know what's lurking in the darkness, and there they are. Big, really big spiders. But I can chase them away with the light. They don't like the light. So the thing is here, don't stay in the darkness for too long. If you're in the darkness for too long, they'll bite you. What up, Cole? Welcome back. They don't like the light, chat. We follow the ball. As long as the ball is around us, we are safe. Ball's the best. Yeah, ball's keeping us safe. Would you play games on your live? Yes, I do, ADHD. Yes, I do. We're playing the Unfinished Swan. It's just gotten really spooky now. Because it's nighttime, chat, and nighttime's always spooky. Well, where did the ball go? Okay. This section's a little weird for the ball, because the ball physics are kind of weird, but we're okay. We are okay. Part 2, the river. Alright, chat, here comes the scariest part. We've got to follow the ball and not go into the darkness. Follow the ball. Is the ball's name Paul, chat? Are we naming it Paul? I'm gonna be up all night, lol. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm probably also gonna be out up all night. Ooh, chat, I'm scared. Alright, chat, we're gonna follow Paul. Paul the ball. Hey, look, guys, there's the frog. Remember the frog, guys? The frog that got eaten earlier in the game? There it is. It's alive. Uh-oh. I died. It's fine, chat. The game doesn't penalize you for dying. It's supposed to be an enjoyable experience. Paul will protect me. Gator. There was a gator. All right, chat, we did it. All right, chat, say goodbye to Paul. Is this a horror puzzle game? It's kind of a puzzle game, yeah. All right, Paul. We'll see you, buddy. Say goodbye to Paul, chat. We gotta leave him behind.
The king was tired of creating perfect kingdoms only to attract less than perfect subjects. He decided he'd have to leave a legacy the old-fashioned way, with a family. So he began to build one, starting with a house.
So he wanted himself a family instead. Because he was lonely. Now, where do I go? I think now we push it over this way. Actually, we might be bringing Paul with us. We are bringing Paul with us. Paul's back, guys. I drowned. Paul is back, guys. Paul is back. In loving memory of Paul. He's coming with us for a little bit. Come on, Paul. In loving memory of Paul. That's crazy. Yeah, Paul is back. You guys are so excited for Paul coming with us. This isn't a horror game, though. It's not supposed to be scary, but this part of the game is supposed to be scary. Alright, chat. Now, he created a lover.
The king had never had much luck with people, so instead of trying to find a wife, he painted one. When she opened her eyes, the king was astonished. He had created a female version of himself. The king was in love.
You must protect him. We gotta leave Paul behind now, chat. Because now we're going to the next part of the game. This part's really weird. Alright, chat. We'll say our goodbyes to Paul. Alright, Paul, you've been a real one. Thanks for keeping us away from the darkness, Paul. See ya, Paul. Say goodbye to Paul, chat. Next drawing stream, you gotta make Paul the ball. I will make Paul the ball. Okay. So now this part's really weird. Because you kind of have to create like these weird parts. Like that. You have to create like a bridge. So I had to make like a block I can actually get on. Like this. And then raise it up like that. And then get on it. Look at that, chat. We made ourselves a staircase. What up, Paul? Interesting, don't you think? Alright, guys. Here we go.
Bursting with joy, the king locked himself in his workshop painting gifts for his queen. He never saw her lack of interest, though she made no effort to hide it. The only gift she kept was his first, a little silver painted
He fell in love, chat. Yeah, we'll miss you, Paul. Do you guys see where the story's going now? Does anyone have any questions? Like, are you guys lost a little bit? I feel like it's kind of coming to be obvious. Games reminds me of King's Quest. So he created himself a wife, and his wife loved painting, just like he did. We gotta go up here. The nursery. Now we're in the nursery, chat. Does anyone recognize the frog?
Every day the king painted a new room for the house, and every day he abandoned it as not good enough for his queen. While he slept, the queen spent her nights painting creatures of the forest, though she never finished a single one. 5 months went by before the king noticed she was pregnant.
She was pregnant, chat. 5 months. Time to go into another part. I have a theory that the frog impregnated the girl. That's crazy! What? Does anyone need any help for me to explain to them, like, what the story's going on to? I feel like the story's becoming very obvious as we're going along. Bro, I was thinking that too. Lol. What? You guys are weird. You guys are weird, chat. The frog did it too. That's crazy. You guys are weird. So, for those of you who don't understand, the king painted Monroe's mother. Monroe's mother is a painting, and he is the result of that. He's a living half painting. Yeah, Monroe's mother is a painting. She's a painting created by the king. Hey guys, if we look at the moon. Okay, for anyone that doesn't get the reference, this is game's called Journey here, and it's a reference to that Journey takes place on the moon, because that's a big theory. Made by the same people who did this game. I'll play Journey on stream as well at some point. Journey's a good game as well. Just a little reference for any of you who didn't know that. Journey's a great game. I'll play it on stream at some point for you guys. Okay, chat. Now we're going up there. How's that possible? The one thing we never knew about Journey is that someone else is supposed to be guiding you like a real player. Yeah. Journey's a great game. And I will definitely be playing that on stream too. Alright, guys. Does that look familiar? Now, where are you? We're about to go to the king's castle, or his, like, self-portrait. Does this look familiar, though? I wonder what this game's about.
On the night before the queen was to give birth, she left. All she took was a single unfinished painting. When the king woke, he found no explanation, and he never did.
She left him. The king's monument. Here's the last one.
For 9 years, the king didn't paint a thing. Then he had a vision, a colossal monument of himself that would be his legacy for the ages. But he hadn't even finished painting the scale model, which was over 100 feet tall itself, when his powers began to fail.
His painting powers began to leave him. The powers to paint things. Create. He fell into a deep depression. Here's one.
The king never finished another painting. Then one night he went to sleep and couldn't even finish his own dream. And he's been trapped inside it ever since.
The king is trapped inside his own dream. He can't escape it anymore. Is this stream gonna be only the Unfinished Swan or other things? I haven't decided yet. Alright guys, the water's rising. We gotta get up. We gotta go, chat. The water's rising. shit. This game looks cool. It is a very fun game. It's a lovely game. Ride the table. Gotta ride the table to the top, chat. All of his paintings are getting destroyed. The water continues to rise, swallowing up everything. Or more like, his monument is sinking. He couldn't keep it up. The monument sinks down into the water. I fucked that up bad, didn't I? Alright, chat, I messed that up. Alright. There's the face. Face of the king. Now we're going to crawl up into one of his nostrils.
As Monroe stood there trying to think of something to say, the statue shuddered and the hatch slammed shut. And now there was no more need for talking. The king was awake.
What the shit is... I just looking... Things get deleted. Saw that. Oh, Swan. Alright, guys. Last part of the game. The beginning. The beginning of the king's dream.
Ah, it's you, the boy from my dream. What a strange dream it was. My life's work was being destroyed, and all I could do was watch.
Come, sit here by the fire.
Yes, the hippo talks.
It all began right there, in the house I grew up in. I heard a heavy knocking at the door, just like on the night I left.
Actually, by the way, Chav, we go to check. It's a tiny king.
I opened the door, but there was nothing there, just white space.
You guys recognize this? It's the beginning of the game again.
When I got outside, disaster. Some miscreant had painted everything. My garden was ruined.
Guys, we made this mess. Here's the statue.
And then my statue spoke and said, "Help me! Some little hooligan is running around spattering everything in the garden. I think he's headed for the... Yeah. Something got in my mouth. Oh, dear.
We can clean everything, too.
I saw my unfinished labyrinth, abandoned and forgotten.
There's the castle. The castle that we went to.
Your dreams have credits?
Oh yes, and subtitles.
A Dream by Giant Sparrow. Written and directed by Lan Dallas. Produced by Mac Granger.
And then I saw my beautiful city strangled by those disgusting vines.
There's a swan, chat.
Stand huddled
Big ass
like
swan.
rats, and instead, it'll be buried in one, a monument for weeds.
This is the Unfinished Swan, yeah.
The dining hall was full of people, like the old days. It smelled like roasted goose. For a moment, I was happy.
Technical Artists by Gary Brunetti. I think that's how you say it. Technical Director, Joshua Sarfati? I don't know how to say his name. Programmers, Joshua, Chris, Eric. Now we're the king. Now we're the adult king. This game was level designer, Ben Espercito. Production assistant.
And suddenly, I was alone again. The world had become cold and dark. I felt my own death rising up around me.
Additional writers. Additional art. Flavin Krushby. I can't see his name. Narrator. Julie Pari. He's the narrator. She's the narrator of the game.
I floated past chunks of the house I built.
There's Paul.
Building. Scarcely 10 years later, and the whole thing was in ruins. My works were meant to last forever, but most of them will be gone before I am.
There was Monroe's mother.
I was at a funeral. My own, as it turned out. No one was there. Except you.
There's us, chat. But he's gone. Now we're Monroe, chat. And there's the king. Finally at the end. There's the monument.
I saw my monument. My last hope of leaving something that would live on after me. And I began to walk towards it. And with each step I took, I got larger. I just kept growing and growing, like a teenager. With a gentle push, my monument crumbled and sank. I saw my life's work laid out in front of me. Soon it would crumble into dust or be painted over by someone who would come after me, the same way I painted over what was here before me.
There's the kingdom, chat. Forgotten Empire. There's the labyrinth.
When the universe ended, I knew that everything I'd made was over. And as I sat there, looking out into the darkness, I thought back on all the things I'd built and left unfinished. I realized something. I wasn't sad that it was all gone. I had fun making all that stuff. I would have done it anyway. And then somehow I knew that when I woke up, all my work really would be destroyed. And that's when you showed up. I don't know how you got here, but I'm glad to see you. I have something for you. This brush isn't mine anymore. My work is over. It belongs to you now. I hope it makes you happy, and that someday they will say, he is a better man than his father. That door will take you anywhere you want to go, but leave quickly, child. None of this will last for long.
And that night, even though he was very tired, Monroe did something that would have made his mother very happy. He painted.
He finished the swan, guys. He finished the swan. That's it. Good night, ADHD. And that's Unfinished Swan. And that is one of my favorite games of all time. Does anyone have any questions? I can understand it may be a little confusing, this game. But that is my favorite game of all time, probably. Yeah, good night, ADHD. Some of you gotta have questions. Very wholesome game, yeah. You find out that the king is your father. He actually is your father. And you're seeing all of his works as they all slowly begin to disappear. Because not everything lasts forever. That's the message of the game. Not everything will last forever. But you just have to keep going. I mean, I've played it before. You forced me to. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Why not finish the goose? He did. He finished the swan. He painted its neck up. The swan was finished. I'm so confused. Ask questions. He finished the swan, though, guys. That's the whole point of the game. Oh, you can't. No matter how many times you can hit the goose with the paint, it doesn't finish it. That makes sense, yeah. Okay, guys, if that's it, I'm gonna end this stream, and I'm gonna upload it as a VOD to the channel, so that way other people can watch this game, because I really think this game's great. It is one of my favorite games of all time. So, I'm gonna end this stream, and I'll start a new one for gaming, for just other bits of gaming, so we can play some other games, but I want this to be a stream to keep. So, thank you all so much for tuning in for this one. I'll see you guys in a little bit with a new stream. And, I really hope you enjoyed. I really hope you enjoyed the Unfinished Swan. I know I did. It's been a while since I played through this game. When is next stream? It'll be in a little bit. It'll be in a little bit. I just gotta upload this one. Thank you, guys. Alright. Peace.